quite recently too, we were given a video by a police officer here on the island, and of an observation that was made in the early morning hours over central Long Island, Middle Country Road. So this is a recording by a police officer from a cell phone, and unfortunately, this is the problem with the cell phone. It's they rate them as high megapixel resolution, but the only problem is they have very high compression rates. So you'll see down here, this on the right here is a telephone pole, and it's out of focus. It's simply because the video is being moved back and forth, and when that happens, you lose the detail. If it was a stationary image for a period of time, you would see things basically clear up, come into focus. You have a little bit more detail, but it's kind of hard. But you do see the basic components of what's going on over here, and this is something that we've been seeing on a regular basis. So this apparently this bus driver was looking up, and he was filming this thing above the telephone pole. Now you'll see the object itself. Now what I did is I took the video, and I zoomed in on it just to get a better idea of what we were looking at here. And you'll see that there seems to be a kaleidoscope of color around the object and the object is rotating. It's rotating like a cube, a polyhedron of some sort. And as it's rotating, you'll see this color shifting. I don't believe that the colors are there. It's changing color. I believe it's, this might be a form of gravitational lensing, where you're going red shift, blue shift. As the object rotates in the direction of the viewer, it blue shifts, and as it rotates away, it's undergoing a red shift because of possibly a concentrated gravitational field of some sort. And if I move it along, you'll see this you'll see this effect.
I've heard Lou Elizondo say that these things are could be encased in that type of field. Is that what you guys are seeing too? Like that's how they're able to make these wild turns. And if there happens to be someone inside, it might protect whoever's inside from the gravitational forces.
Yeah, there does seem to be some kind of envelope or bubble around them.
Right, and that's
actually trapping the light too.
Yeah, there's definitely some kind of halo. We've seen this before. But there's also dark areas. There seem to be near the center, and we're kind of wondering whether or not that might be a form of high gravitational areas. They're concentrated areas, possibly where a field is, either being focused in or out of the object, and where that focusing is occurring. That field is much stronger, and we believe that those areas might be the absence of light, because we'll see even like this, you'll see a bright source of light in the front here, and in these areas where it's dark, the edges are very defined, almost like there's no bleed over, there's no fringing of the color, and that looks to us like it's just an area where it's not allowing the light to come through.
It almost looks like poles. If you have a very
possibly poles. We see this down here, but as they're rotating, and we've gone frame by frame, you could see in the direction of rotation. Like I said, if the object is rotating towards the observer, it seems to blue shift, and as it's moving away, it red shifts.
And we've seen this repeatedly on a lot of these objects. When we look closely at them, when their luminosity seems to drop, they have this polyhedral shape and they have a rotation, and you see these kaleidoscope of colors. And I had spoken to both the police officer and the friend who took the video, he actually got out of the vehicle because it grabbed his attention. It was so stunning that he stepped out of the vehicle and it filmed it. He says it was stationary in the sky. It was just sitting up there. And he said it looked almost like a Christmas ornament rotating, or a disco ball with all the different, and with the full colors of a rainbow. But he said he saw a lot of blue and red.
Yeah, and there's something else physically about the structure too. And this we've seen too. is that there seems to be like these dark areas they'll seem to have borders on one side where you'll have these almost like right angles. They're almost coming together at right angles, possibly around some kind of a polyhedron. But it seems like you have an area or an absence of light that is extended around one side, and just a small area on the other. And if you looked at these objects, and we've done it with FLIR cameras, the envelope that they produce around them it looks almost like a heart-shaped pattern. It's I know with some of the Navy videos they talk about that the area is if it's black hot, the area becomes white because it's colder than the environment around it, and we're kind of wondering whether or not that's the case, or if it's actually just the absence of light. And it's really not a cold area. It's just the way the camera is capturing it, the FLIR camera. They're areas of concentrated gravitational fields, and it seems like they may be colder than the environment.